All right, so this is a very long overdue follow-up to a couple of videos I put in the cult called The Power of One. You can search for it if you didn't watch it. This is what I do after I do that. This is, I guess you can call it a technique or a method. It's not new, but it's just rarely ever taught. Pretty much any major breakthrough piece of copy that has lasted a really long time, or that converted really well and lasted a long time, is going to have these pieces that I'm going to talk about. Now, Colin has this thing he calls conversion core. I wish he didn't come up with that, because that's what I'd like to call this. This is what I believe is where the conversion process actually occurs. It's after the headline, the subhead, the introduction, and all this kind of stuff. It's in the beginning of the body of the sales copy. So I'm going to go through these steps. I guess I'll call it the conversion gauntlet. It's what a person goes through, where they go through this process and they end up believing it was their idea to want to buy this. Okay, so that's in my mind, this is a very important concept, is that it's trying to get the customer or the reader to believe it is their idea. And I'm going to give a bunch of examples as I go through each part, but then afterwards, if you want to stick around, I'll just go through some copy, some breakthrough copy, and I'll show you how it's used. And when you start looking at copy after that, you'll see that this thing is everywhere. But again, it's rarely ever taught in copywriting courses. Here's the first thing I want to go over. This is about implanting an idea. So we want to implant an idea. There's lots of different ways of doing this. These are, what I'm going to show you is a very tried and true thing you can just use for the rest of your life. The first thing I'm going to go over here is this block. It's written here, it says cause, it says new cause of the old pain. So you have a customer, you have a product, and the customer has a pain. And if you watch the Power of One videos, I said narrow it down to one customer and narrow it down to one pain point, and then have one promise. So what we're working on here is a very deep level of believability. What works really well is to show a new cause of that pain. So let's just take something really common like arthritis, and then you have the supplement. What you want to show is you want to show that there's a new cause of that arthritis pain. So you've seen this. I mean, you can look in health sales letters, really high converting sales letters for supplements or what have you, and you'll find the highest converting ones talk about a new discovery of some new reason why the pain exists in the first place. So that's the first thing you want to do. Now you can apply this anywhere, in any niche, no matter what, you can do this. I'm focusing on the most crowded markets and the markets where there's the greatest amount of money. Okay, so I'm not really talking about the internet marketing niche or the BizOp niche. Those are very, very small, very small niches in relation to the gigantic niches. So you want to look for a new cause of an old pain. So that's the first part. People who have that pain are very interested in learning about new causes of why they are experiencing what they're experiencing. The next thing is believability and proof. So you want to go through a process where you build a case and make it very believable for this new cause. So you can use proof, you can use studies, you can use an expert who talks about it. You can show the journal, the medical journal or whatever, show how that new cause was discovered. You can also use a story. Okay, Gary Halbert uses stories quite a bit to show how this new cause was discovered. And then when you do this, what you do is you don't want to just prove that there's a new cause. You also want to prove that the person speaking or that the sales copy really deeply understands this pain. So if you're if you're into the gun rights niche and you talk about proof elements, you want to show evidence that you really understand this, that you're really one of them. So believability is not just about believing the one thing that you're talking about at that moment, but it's also about showing that you deeply understand, that you're proving that you're part of the club. And the last part, which is not really taught a lot, is naming something. So if you have a new cause of a problem, you want to name that new cause. So let's say we're talking about atherosclerosis, or plaque, arterial plaque, and we were saying that it's the pH balance of the blood is actually the cause of arterial plaque. It's not the fat and the grease in your diet. So this acidic blood, the body's defending itself against this acid blood by building plaque, so the acid doesn't burn holes in the arteries. So I'll name that. I'll call it acid blood. Okay, something nice and painful there. So now naming it is such a powerful technique that is rarely used, and you should use it. Really good sales videos, they use this a lot. When you name it, what you do is you create a symbol that encapsulates a lot of power, a lot of emotion. So you go through all this work of showing a new cause and believability. Once you give it a name, you can use that name for the rest of the sales letter, and that name carries all the weight of that work you've done earlier. So there's this buildup of this, it's like, oh man, I have acid blood. Maybe that's why I'm having all this arterial plaque, or why my dad has it, or if it's a woman, why my husband has it. Now, every time you say acid blood, they have this feeling of like, this understanding, like it's their understanding now. And so they got this first concept here. That's this first concept is done through the use of these 3 steps here. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next video now.